Thanks for stopping back by to Joey Sparks GG channel. This is the Game In channel. This is where all the stuff gaming goes down at. Now, revisiting Joe Knows as his second video speaking on the NBA 2K microtransactions. I'm interested to hear what he's got to say. I hope you are too. If this is the first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, hype the video, tell everybody about it. This gaming channel is for me, my son, and his gaming friends, and my gaming friends, just a kind of a platform where we can show off our gaming and discuss and then connect with you gamers out there. Okay, without further ado, though, let's jump in and see what Joe Knows has to say. His first video spoke about how the college football gaming community made change as soon as they saw some microtransactions. My opinion was NBA 2K community is a little too, they're not strong enough. The majority of them are not strong enough to make a change. I would love to see everybody actually take a real stand and not, but there's just too many creators, too much content, and there isn't another basketball game out there that rivals the mechanics. Now, I'm all for supporting whatever other basketball game comes out there as well as you playing this one, but unless we stop giving them our money, they're not going to change anything. The devs, or not the devs, the developers have nothing to do with microtransactions. The shareholders aren't going to change anything unless we all really stop buying the game. We just really have to stop buying the game, or buy the game, no extra money spent. But that's not going to happen, because if you buy the game and you get a little bit of taste of how the mechanics work, you want to see how your dude will do and better, and you don't want to wait, and you just rather pay. And I think it's dumb, and that's how we're never going to get anything nice. But without further ado, let's hear what Joe's got to say. Okay.
My first video was pretty interesting to say the least. For this video to make sense, you probably need to go watch that video, so I'll leave it in the description if you didn't check it out. But pretty much I was talking about the college football situation, right. Microtransaction, yeah, instantly clowned me for it and said it's impossible. But if you look at the quote tweets to my video, I know my Twitter's in light mode, get over it, it's how I like it. But pretty much saying this is a waste of time got more than triple the likes that the actual conversation itself got. And in the second quotes, we got double the likes the actual conversation got, saying the fact that he's getting blitzed for even posting this is how you can see the difference between the two communities, man. Sucks to see. When more people are supporting the fact that you shouldn't even try than people supporting the actual conversation, that says a lot. Another thing people attacked was the way I approached my first video on the topic. I felt the point of the first video was to not only start the conversation, but educate people on what exactly the challenges we were facing were. People said doing that was doing nothing or engagement farming. To me, it was the necessary first step in this whole process. For example, so many people were saying our situation was the same as the college football situation. No. But Bordeaux, the man who started the college football movement, when I talked to him personally, the first thing he pointed out was the differences between the college football community situation and the 2K community situation. And when you look at the college football situation, what they actually accomplished, they didn't completely remove microtransactions or completely change EA's business strategy. The pay to progress feature that EA snuck into an offline game mode, they got that removed. And EA didn't even return the game to the way that the college football community wanted. The reason I approached my first video the way that I did was I felt it was important to point out the differences between the college football situation and the 2K community's ongoing situation with microtransactions.
Correct.
If the 2K community actually wants something to change, it's not going to be a 2-day fight where a hashtag goes trending on Twitter and instantly things change. The public needed to hear all that information I put in the first video to understand what exactly the challenges are. It was so surprising to me that people questioned that strategy. When you look back at some of the biggest activists in human history, that's the approach they took. Now, I know I'm going to get clowned for this, but one of the most influential human beings to ever step foot on Earth used this approach to fight much tougher battles than video game microtransactions. Dr. King firmly believed in educating the public before initiating action. King believed that a well-educated, informed public was essential for shifting social consciousness, and that educating the community was a vital precursor to negotiation and direct action. If you're going to try to impact change, you have to have people understanding what the problems are, what the challenges are. And that
He's not wrong.
Was what I felt was an important first step. To the people saying I'm just talking and I'm doing nothing, you're very misguided and very uninformed. Now, earlier in the week, I was at the World Cup semifinal, but all 5 days that I spent in Texas, I was busy contacting every single creator I possibly could in the space. I reached out to almost 40 content creators on the phone or messaging in the DMs, trying to gather everyone's opinion, not only on what they felt should be changed, but how we should try to change it. And unfortunately, a large majority of those content creators never even responded to me. And the ones that did, everybody's opinion and strategy was just so far apart that we were miles away from ever being on the same page.
Makes sense.
So judging by the responses from these content creators, but also the lack of responses from these content creators, and the response from the public to my first video starting the conversation, it really felt like getting everybody in the community on the same page was nowhere close to happening. I have some people telling me, use your contacts at 2K. Whenever you talk to the devs or 2K employees, advocate on our behalf and tell them what we want changed. And I have the other half of people telling me, burn your bridges with 2K, never go to another 2K event. That'll make them change. Regardless of what I choose, it feels like somebody's going to be upset with me. Now, full transparency. If never going to another 2K event meant that they would eliminate microtransactions from the game going forward, I would do it in a heartbeat. Not to flex, but the money I make from my community day videos is a very small portion of my income for the year. I could gladly sacrifice that and wouldn't see any change in my personal life. But if I'm being honest, me declining an invite to community day or any other 2K event, I don't feel like is going to change Take-Two corporate executives' mind on their business strategy. Unfortunately, microtransactions are a part of gaming now. It's not just 2K, it's damn near every video game you play. Microtransactions are part of their business model. And realistically, they're not going anywhere in the future. But that doesn't mean we can't do anything. So now let's talk about taking action. What I plan on doing. My first step was educate and inform people on the actual challenges that we are up against. I did that in my first video.
Okay, and accomplished fully well. Now what?
I wanted to try to unite the public and unite the creators and get everybody behind what we actually wanted changed. But as I said, it doesn't really seem like getting everybody on the same page is going to happen anytime soon. And the longer we wait, the closer we get to the 2K27 launch date, and the less likely they're going to change anything. So here's what I plan to personally do. Now, although I don't have direct contact to the higher-ups in the company, of course I have talked to, as I said, 2K employees and 2K devs. So I want to try to present solutions that they can actually impact the change with. They don't have control over VC prices or microtransactions as a whole, but they do have impact in the way things are implemented within the game. So I think that's our spot where we can negotiate some change. So I'm going to try to push for two things. And listen, I'm not stupid. I know companies need to make money. So the two things I'm going to push for, I'm going to advocate why it benefits us, but why it could also benefit 2K. I think that's the only way we're going to be able to negotiate and actually see something change.
Okay.
The first, make the VC that we buy have more value. Make it last longer. Add longevity to the thing we are purchasing. How can you do that? So for example, in my team, when you buy a card, eventually you don't want that card anymore. You resell that card. You might not get back 100% of what it's worth, but you get some value back that you can then put to the next card or pack that you want to buy.
Understandable, even though I don't play the Ultimate My Team or whatever. I thought making builds was throwing money away. That card shit, not for me.
On the My Player side, we don't have anything like that. Now, if you remember a few years ago, there was talk about respecing our builds. It could be something you have to unlock. It could be a one-time thing every season. Something that allows you to take an old build you don't want anymore, get some of the VC back, and put that VC towards a new build. I think that also encourages players to make more builds, which of course 2K would love.
Right.
Now, speaking of the value and the longevity of our VC, I think making VC more attainable in-game would not only pay huge dividends for us, the consumer, but would also help 2K. By making the VC more attainable and more valuable, it's going to keep people on the game longer. If you keep people on the game longer, they're seeing the advertisements that 2K place within the game. It's good for all parties. For example, the challenges that we can complete in the game to unlock VC. Either add more VC to each challenge, so instead of doing 1,000 3-pointers to get 1,000 VC, make it 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 VC as a reward.
Thank you.
Make the challenges less tedious so you can earn that 1,000 VC without having to make 1,000 shots. The plus side for this on 2K is if people see it's more attainable, they're more likely to continue to grind the game.
Right.
You could increase the amount of VC we get for each game mode that we play. I mean,
He's not wrong. There is, in each build, you can choose like a specialty path, like whether you're like a 3-point shooter or like a finisher or something like that. And what he's talking about is in there, some of the challenges to get through this specialization is like make 1,000 3-pointers, and it's just like, bruh, do you know how long that shit will take? Like, it will take a long ass time for me to get that done. But what he's saying is like, yeah, like if you only get 1,000 after doing that long ass grind to get 1,000 3-pointers made, I want to have more, otherwise I'm not going to finish it. And it was like, I never finished one of my specializations on anybody, and at the end they think they had a cap breaker, but it's too involved, and so I'm gonna quit out and trying to achieve that. But if you make it seem more achievable, easier, then I would assume, like me, other people would continue to strive for that. It's just my POV.
I mean, we're playing a 30-minute rec game and we're getting 1,000 VC. So you'd have to play 10 rec games to get 10,000 VC. That's 5 hours of gameplay, and you still can't even buy a t-shirt. The second thing I'm going to be pushing for is add more free build rewards. In 2K26, if you hit Legend 1, you got a free maxed out build upgrade. It's clearly been approved. It's already in the game. Can we add that to other areas? For example, can you add it to lifetime challenges? If you complete 100 lifetime challenges, you get a free maxed out build upgrade slot. 2K loves the season pass. You could add it as one of the rewards each season. You can unlock one free maxed out build slot in the season pass. You can either grind for it or pay for it. It's your choice. Instead of only having it at Legend 1, add it to a couple of the lower rep levels as a rep reward. Instead of allowing me to become the Silver Surfer, I don't care. I would much rather grind to get a free build. Again, that's going to keep people grinding, playing the game longer, seeing all the advertisements, more likely to engage on all the stuff 2K is promoting within their game. It's a win-win for both sides. Another idea that I personally think is great is you get your first build maxed out to 85 overall for free. On our side, we would love to just get a free build to start the game. But on 2K's side, imagine if they were promoting, if you pre-order the game or if you buy the game at all, you get your first build for free. I think sales would go through the roof.
I would buy immediately. I think that's an excellent idea.
More people would buy the game knowing their first build is going to be free. The barrier...
And you know what? I'm sorry. Like, my wheels are turning. If you give us free build up to 85, right? If 2K does that, we still have to pay from 85 to 99, right? So yeah, you're going to have us instantly. So we're going to feel like we're getting value, right? Because our first build goes in and boom, we're already at 85. We can kind of already start to see some of their pros and cons in the build that we made, right? Then if we're like, yo, I like this build, I'm going to max him out. Then we start grinding and we start immediately paying back to 2K, right? Because we need to buy VC to finish the max out. And we know them tail end attributes are one of the most expensive anyway. So Take-Two will be getting still a pretty decent chunk of change, in my opinion, from what I can see thinking about it right now. And then eventually we all get to our second build. Nobody ever goes in and just makes one build, or if they do, maybe they're not the target audience for 2K. But like once I finish my one build, I usually go, I wish I would have not put so much into this and put more into this. And so usually my second build is like a better of my first build, right? But then after I perfected, like let's say I put out a shooting guard and I wish his 3-pointer was better, so I put more into the 3-pointer for the second build, and now I got a perfect one, right? Now I had to pay for that second build, right? But then after that, I want another position. Give me a center. Now I want to play with a center, right? That's another build. So now I'm paying for 2 builds, plus I'm paying for the build past 85 on that first build. It'd be an easy way, in my opinion, for 2K to be able to like make an olive branch gesture with the community.
To entry is easier. once you get people in that my player game mode, they're more likely to want to invest more VC for a second build, a third build. It benefits 2K and it benefits our player base. As I said, I'm personally going to be pushing for these two ideas, trying to negotiate on how it can benefit both sides and ultimately make it better for our community. Now, I get it. People are going to watch this and they're not going to agree with my ideas or the way that I'm going about it. But for me, in my head, in my heart, this is the best way that I can potentially affect change in a positive way for the community. Now, full transparency with you guys, this is going to be happening behind the scenes. My channel is about entertaining people. My job is to entertain people. Nobody wants to come home from a long day of work, day after day after day, and listen to some guy bitch about a video game. So I'm glad I'm able to make these couple videos to get all my thoughts out so you guys know exactly where I stand on everything. Now, these battles taking place behind the scenes are nothing new for me. I've done a lot of stuff that I've never told anybody about that has genuinely made the game better. And none of it was paid. I wasn't able to create any content from it. I couldn't even discuss it because it was under a non-disclosure agreement. I was simply taking time away from my wife, time away from my kids, because I care about this game and I care about this community. Anything I can do to help, I'm more than happy to help. And I'm not saying this because I want you to give me some super credit for anything that happens. I'm just telling you, the people that are saying that I'm not doing things are absolutely clueless and are talking out of their ass. So I'm going to continue to fight these battles behind the scenes, not only to try to get us the best and most fun game possible, but also to try to advocate for our community to make our experience better overall. Right. And if people want to find some sick way to twist that up and make it into a negative, well then that's their problem. I think Bordeaux from the college football community summed it up best. I'll continue to speak my mind on everything I believe in, but I also won't make my entire personality hating EA. That's essentially where I'm at. I'm always going to speak my mind. And anytime I get to talk to a 2K employee or a 2K dev or who knows, maybe one day a corporate executive from Take-Two, I'm always going to push for things that I think will make the game better and things that will help the community. So like I said, I'm sure some people will disagree with my approach. I'm sure some people will twist this video into some negative thing. It is what it is at this point. The people that have supported me for years, you guys know who I am. If I'm still invited to any 2K27 events this summer, I'll be pushing for these changes to hopefully give us a better 2K27 experience. If there's something you think is better that I should be pushing,
put it down in the comments below. So what do you guys think? You think Joe's onto a decent thing, or are you still skeptical on whether it'll work or not? I don't know if it'll happen this year. I mean, if you ask me what my gut is, 2K27 is going to be the last egregious cash grab NBA 2K and Take-Two are going to do. My gut tells me great ideas and all. Joe knows speaking up ain't going to help unless a ton of us decide not to purchase the game. Find something else to do for 2-3 months until GTA 6 comes out. And then just GTA 6 until you're blue in the face, right? You could maybe watch 2K squirm a little bit. But I think 2K, like me, knows community's they're not going to hold off. They're not going to hold off. They're going to want to buy VC by the truckload so they can get to getting on and talking junk, and that's not even bringing in the cheaters with the Zens and all that sort of stuff. So in my mind, I think 2K knows that a lot of games player base is going to drop significantly, and so in turn they're not going to want to drop prices and then watch their player base drop too, because then that's two things adding to the loss of money: the price drop and the lower player base. Whereas they just go, we'll just keep the money where it's at. Whoever wants to play 2K, and we'll just work on that first couple months of 2K before GTA 6 comes out, and we'll try and scoop all the money we can off the table, and then maybe next year we'll worry about trying to implement some change and bring back the community's faith and not seeming so greedy and blase. That's how I think it'll roll. But either way, I'd like to know what you guys think. If you could let me know in the comments, that'd be awesome. Also, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. This gaming channel is not just me. It's gonna be my youngest son, his gaming buddies, hell, even my oldest son and his gaming buddies, my gaming buddies, and we're just gonna, like I said, be talking about games. We'll do live gaming, gaming news, all gaming content right here on this channel. And I appreciate your support. I'll catch you on the next one, y'all. Peace.